you definitely have those kids that are very intentional about like, oh, this goes in this folder, and some that are like, this is good. This is good. Okay, so Haley is probably my lowest reader.
Okay.
She receives Tier 3 intervention every day.
Okay.
She also receives speech services. Okay. She's one that we're talking about often because looking at her data and being so much lower, she's actually almost an entire year older than the rest of the kids too.
Okay.
She turned 7 in August rather than 6.
Got it.
So she's receiving a lot of support right now, but I can show you some of the tools. Yeah. So we've done a lot with the lower kids with using like poems and songs.
Okay.
It allows them to have more in their book boxes rather than being able to read those books in 2 seconds. Sure. And then when we're doing lessons with blends and diagraphs, those are not in their level B books. Right. So it's something that we can go through and look for.
Is that a phonics piece that you were talking
about
too? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's good.
And there's certain ones, so like we just did the vowel teams lesson for the word detectives. Mm-hmm. And although these aren't ones that she's going to see a lot in her books, it's a tool. I still give them to all of the kids. Yeah. A, because you don't want some of them to stand out, and B, because she'll still see like the word eat in some of her books or tree, and she can still connect some of that.
Okay.
I also have goal. These are what their goal sheets look like.
Okay.
So, right now she's focusing on checking the picture. Okay. So as they're reading, they have this out. Their first job is to kind of review what their goal is.
Okay.
And then as we check in, sometimes like the special ed staff and things, if their kiddos are on task, they'll try and bop around too. Sure. So I've given them some tools, but if one of us notices that they're using or they're meeting their goal on their own, like we just add a star to it, and once they get 3 stars, they can flip it to it's now a reading habit.
Got it.
So that's kind of how we use that.
It's a easy, quick check.
Yeah. Yeah, it helps. Okay. Yeah, I've pulled in quite a few tools from phonics.
Sure.
We did like short vowel shields.
Okay.
It just helps them to, we use vowel power. And so it's just like an enticing way for them to be able to review their short vowel sounds, which has been a struggle for a lot of the kiddos. Sure. And let's see. Yeah, and then they have like their basic sight word charts, and I have the short vowel sound charts. Okay. So, just a lot of those resources. Actually, Haley's pretty good at, she'll go through and read her charts. Okay. I don't know where blends and diagraphs is, but that's usually her favorite one. She'll go through and just like name all of them on there, or she'll take out her snap word chart and go through. Okay. Which is awesome that she'll independently try to do that, because those are areas that she needs support in. So Bennett's, they're reading maths, but you've probably seen that in your building. Yep. He's in higher level books, obviously. Okay. But he still has his own reading goals. Watch this one is sometimes. Yeah, this is definitely not his. He's got switched. But his goal is we're doing list and retell. I always flip it. So it's being able to retell what you read without telling every little detail. Yep. So we did a small group with that. Him and his partner must have pulled these out because this is definitely flipped. But but he still gets the same tools as Haley, so that if he wants to use them, he can. Got it. We've got charts like our good habits for solving hard words. And
sure. That's perfect.
So those are some of like the instructional tools that they have to allow them to be a little more independent. Mm-hmm. I also feel like I give this group more because they were definitely not as independent as past groups.
Got it.
It was very interesting. They're very good at sitting in one spot the whole time. But, it's like their stamina for just like being here with their book box. It was like, oh, this is nice. But I'm like, 3/4 of them are not actually reading, you know, so we had to really, like, what is your job right now when you're sitting here? Like, great that you can sit here for this timed amount of time, but, like, what does reading the whole time look like? So, it was that attending and focus piece more so when they're independent than anything.
That makes sense. You talked a little bit about activities that engage them in building their understanding of their skills, kind of the small group piece, the conferring. Is there anything else that stands out in your mind during that time, or are those the big things that help to those activities? During their
independent time, or group, small group?
Yeah.
Well, we do a lot of songs with whatever it is that we're focusing on. So for like short vowel, we've done songs from the unit, like we'll pull in like, what's the middle sound that you hear, and then you give them a word and they have to listen for it. Okay. So we've done some of that, and then most of the time putting songs into their bins. Okay. I have word rings in there that they can do as well.
Okay.
So how to make it a snap word is right on there, and then their words are on there.
Right at their fingertips.
Yeah. Whether or not they use them is different, but during the independent time, I used to have a lot more activities, but in talking to Mary Shannon, like, they really need to be building stamina for reading. So as much as they can be in their books and doing that, the better. So we've done a lot of, like, you know, if you need a break from it, you can practice your sight words, you can hunt for them in your books, and then reading through charts and things like that. But I used to have, like, snap word activities and stuff that they could do, but that really is outside of their books, so I stopped that this year.
Sure, that makes sense. That's helpful. Thank you, though, for sharing that. So we're going to move on to that next section of questions about reflective teachers being aware of student needs and assessing the effectiveness of their lessons. So as you reflect on engagement in the lessons that you teach, I want to kind of walk through which students are engaged and how do you know, and kind of start with that.
These kiddos this year, I mean, it's on their faces. I mean, it's observation, absolutely.
Yeah.
They are, I mean, blatantly just kind of like looking out the window or looking at the wall. So, I mean, it's just a lot of like continuously scanning. Like, that's why I kind of like my table work, is because I can see everything, even if I'm working with a small group. So, sorry.
It's okay.
So,
are there students that you specifically see that are?
Yes, I mean, the students that are lower are the ones that struggle the most, I think, because their books are shorter. If they don't have a small group that day, it's just a longer period of time too. Another thing I totally forgot to tell you is we have an educational assistant that comes in each day for 30 minutes. And so I give her a schedule so that she gets to touch base with all the kids throughout the week. With some of the kiddos that need those foundational skills, she's doing like making and breaking words. I literally have her doing systematic phonics. Because it's scripted, so it's something that she can just grab and do, and it's forcing the kids to be manipulating words and making new words. So she does that with them, and then some of my higher kiddos, like Bennett's working on comprehension, so they read articles and go back and highlight that stuff. So throughout the week, they're also pulled with her as well as me.
Well, that's good to know.
And then,
so if you had to go down your list, which ones would you say are
lower?
Yeah.
It would be Haley, Brock, Mark, Ruby's caught up, Karsten, Joey caught up, Gershon, Karam, James, Alana, Mitchell, Alex, and Levi. So, so all of them came in, most of them at B's. It's very hard, though, with the TC running records. I will say I like TC running records for higher kids. I like Fontes and Pinnell for the lower levels, because getting past a C is very hard. You only get 2 errors and you fail.